Welcome everyone to our Saturday evening Pure Land Sharing Circle. So every week I'll start sharing a rebirth case. And for those who have missed rebirth cases from the previous 2 weeks, we'll also slowly upload them on our YouTube channel. I believe we have just uploaded one of them. Okay, so before we go into the sharing, I would like to make a quick announcement. So as most of you are probably aware of, we have an upcoming 3 refuges and 5 precepts ceremony on Sunday, the 17th of July. So it's also the Enlightenment Day of Wan Yin. It's the 19th day of the 6th lunar month in Chinese lunar calendar. And my Master Renshan will give a Dharma talk at 7 p.m. as usual, and then the ceremony will begin at 8 p.m. And for those who are only taking the 3 refuges, you can just do the 3 refuges. And for those who want to take both, then you can take both. And you can also pre-register via our Voice of the Pure Land newsletter link. There's a pre-registration link in the monthly newsletter that we are sending out. Okay, and also from tomorrow, so Sunday, this Sunday onwards, I'll start to talk about the 3 levels of rebirth from the Infinite Life Sutra. So you're more than welcome to join us. Okay, and also all these talks and PowerPoints, etc., we'll all upload them to our Pure Land Drive, Pure Land Library, in our Pure Land Google Drive for people to download freely and to use for reference or study or translate, whatever. So you feel free to download them and use them and share them. Okay. So I won't go into details again about this book, as I've talked about them from the first session when I shared a record of sages in the Pure Land. So in Chinese, it's called 净土圣贤录, where it recorded nearly about 900 rebirth cases from ancient China to the time of Republic of China, include all the monks, nuns, lay Buddhists, people from all walks of life, and even animals who sought rebirth to the Pure Land. So all these are really real rebirth cases with many witnesses, etc. So they're not fake or made up. It's true evidence to prove the Pure Land Dharma is indeed real. Amitabha Buddha is indeed real. Amitabha Buddha's 48 great vows are real. All the Pure Land Sutras, Mahayana Sutras that we are studying are definitely real and valid, and people can trust them. And hopefully all these rebirth cases will help people to gain more faith in the Pure Land Dharma and in practicing Nianfo and vow to seek rebirth to the Pure Land, to exit the cycle of samsara in one lifetime. Okay, so for those who are maybe missed the session where I talk about the background of the book, you can just look at the videos we uploaded to YouTube. The first rebirth cases that I share from this book, where I covered a brief introduction on this book. And we also hope to translate all the rebirth cases into English in the near future, and even add more rebirth cases in nowadays, recent times in China. Just a lot of rebirth cases that we have heard of, and many of them have not really been documented or written down. Okay, so tonight I'd like to share also another very interesting, also inspiring rebirth case, or rebirth cases actually. So it's the rebirth cases of Master Daoquan, his teacher and his mother from the Tang Dynasty. This is from volume 1, page 271. So there are also different versions, formatting versions on a record of sages in the Pure Land. So the one I'm currently using, if you're in China, it's quite easy to get. It has 4 books, so 4 volumes, contain many rebirth cases. So I just extracted from there. And some people ask me if I have the electronic version. So I don't, I only have the paperback version, but you can actually Google these cases, maybe in Chinese, then you can find them easily. These are really well-known rebirth cases in China. Okay, so Master Daoquan, obviously he's also a monk. So in China, we call any monk a master. Whether they are real master or not, we just call them master. Or actually in Chinese, we call them 法师. It's like teacher of the Dharma. And somehow when this title has been translated into English, it becomes master. Yeah, in a way they are indeed like a master, but there are also, great masters or, master, maybe different levels of masters, different levels of teachers. So when you see this title, you know that this person is a monk. Okay, Daoquan, after reading the Mahaprajnaparamita Sastra, or the great treatise on the perfection of wisdom, so in Chinese, 大智度论, also a very well-known, famous treatise that's written by Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, which illustrate the Mahaprajnaparamita Sutras. So really profound, deep wisdom and knowledge. He believed in and admired Bodhisattva Nagarjuna. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, in Chinese, we call him Long Shu Pusa, so literally translated as the dragon tree Bodhisattva, who is the founder of Mahayana Buddhism. And as most people who practice Pure Land Buddhism know that Bodhisattva Nagarjuna also sought rebirth to the Pure Land. And Bodhisattva Nagarjuna is a highly enlightened Bodhisattva. He achieved enlightenment in his life, in one lifetime, through his own effort to the first stage of ground. In Chinese, 欢喜地, the first stage of ground is the stage of joy, a very high level of enlightenment. And he achieved that, but he still vowed to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So again, the Pure Land Dharma is not only for, grandma, grandpas, or people who maybe cannot attain enlightenment through their self-effort like us, but it's also for highly enlightened bodhisattvas, because they know the benefits of gaining rebirth to the Pure Land, where they can, it's really like a fast track for them to realize Buddhahood. That's why we see from the practices and vows of Bodhisattva Sambhadabhadra, Bodhisattva Manjushri, all these bodhisattvas, highly enlightened bodhisattvas, all vow towards seeking rebirth to the Pure Land. And they're really showing us, if we are practicing the bodhisattva path, of course, we ought to learn from the bodhisattvas. And if all these bodhisattvas are seeking rebirth to the Pure Land, of course, we should also seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So Master Daoquan here, very good rule, he said, he made a vow saying, Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, having attained enlightenment to the stage of joy. So the stage of joy is a level of enlightenment. We talk about the 52 levels of enlightenment for Bodhisattva. The stage of joy is also called the first stage of ground. It's a very high level of enlightenment. So if he attained this level of enlightenment, but again, he still vowed to be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss, to assist Amitabha Buddha in saving sentient beings in the 10 directions. So if you are a bodhisattva who attained enlightenment to the first stage of ground or the stage of joy, in Chinese, 欢喜地, then you are already, first of all, a non-regressing bodhisattva. Like you will never fall back in your practice, in your vow, in everything. So you just naturally sort of progressing towards Buddhahood. Even for this high level of enlightened being, he still, again, vowed to seek rebirth to the land of ultimate bliss, to assist Amitabha Buddha in saving sentient beings in 10 directions. I hope that, so Master Daoquan said, he hoped that Bodhisattva Nagarjuna will have mercy on me and enable me to be born in the Western land of ultimate bliss. Later, he made a 3-foot-tall statue of Bodhisattva Nagarjuna and dedicated himself to praying for rebirth. A very sincere, utmost sincere heart. One day, he dreamed of a monk who said, "In 3 years' time, you will be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss." Daoquan said, oops, misspelling here. Daoquan said, "I have a living teacher and mother. How can I give up my life and be reborn first?" Okay, he obviously really also is very considerate of his mother and his teacher, filial piety. And he had this concern, like we can see here, he doesn't maybe want to lead before his mother and teacher. Okay, so the monk said, "Wait until I ask Amitabha Buddha, and then I'll come back to tell you." So this is also common for a lot of Pure Land practitioners, right? They may be like, "Yeah, I want to go to the Pure Land, but I have a son, maybe I have grandson. I need to take care of my children first. I want to see them grow up, etc." So people may have this concern and worries, but don't worry. Look, after 3 days, Daoquan again dreamed of the monk who said, "I told Amitabha Buddha what you said, and the Buddha said, your teacher will seek rebirth in 12 more years, and your mother in 20 more years. In addition, your life expectancy will be increased by 23 years before you are reborn in the Pure Land of the West." So obviously you can negotiate with Amitabha Buddha. It's not a problem. If you don't want to seek rebirth, say earlier, or maybe say you are destined, or maybe you are supposed to seek rebirth, say at the age of 60, let's say, an example, right? If you only have a life expectancy to the age 60, but for whatever reason, right, maybe whatever attachment you may have, that you want to stay longer before you seek rebirth, like Master Daoquan in this case, very valid, right? He considered of his mother, his teacher. He don't want to go before them. Maybe he still need to sort of take care of them, or whatever reasons. And you can let Amitabha Buddha know. And Amitabha Buddha, of course, with great mercy, if you want to live longer, it's not a problem. Really, Amitabha Buddha, if he has the ability and really the inconceivable power to create a Pure Land like that, and to receive all the beings in the 10 directions to go to the Pure Land, then what's so difficult to increase life expectancy for any being, really, due to the Buddha's power? It's really easy to do. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can do that if it's necessary. And we have also seen, remember Master Haixian that I shared on my YouTube channel, maybe the first rebirth case I shared, the very early ones I shared. He also saw Amitabha Buddha quite early in his life, and he could have gone earlier if he wanted to, but Amitabha Buddha told him he had to stay longer to be an example for others. So he sought rebirth at the age of, I think 112, right? Quite a long age. This is also not to get people to misunderstand on the Pure Land Dharma and think, well, Pure Land practitioners, they maybe can only live a short lifespan. They just want to go to the Pure Land. It's also not like that. It's no rush either if one needs to stay longer here to do whatever you need to do. So Daoquan asked again, can my parents, teachers, friends, and others be reborn in the Western Pure Land? So he also really cared about the people around him, and then he asked this question. And the monk replied, if they vow to seek rebirth, there's no doubt they will be born in the Pure Land. It's really easy to be born in the Pure Land. Faith, vow, and practice. Right? Maybe not so much even about the practice if one has really deep faith and vow. I remember whether one can attain rebirth depends on one's faith and vow, and whether the level of rebirth, which we're going to talk about on Sunday, depends on our level of cultivation, our level of practice. And Daoquan was pleased to hear this. So he asked, who are you? The monk said, I am Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, and since you have built my statue, I have come to tell you. Later, both Daoquan's mother and his teacher all sought rebirth at the time the Buddha had given them. And indeed, Venerable Daoquan attained rebirth on the 15th day of the first lunar month, 23 years later. So exactly as what the Buddha had told him, to increase his lifespan for another 23 years. At that time, purple clouds covered the entire monastery. The sound of celestial music filled the sky, and there were more than one such miraculous phenomena. So for all these people who they have know the time of their rebirth earlier, usually they can go really easily. They have really deep faith, firm faith, unshakable faith for sure. They can go really easily at their time of rebirth, and usually also accompanied with some kind of a miraculous phenomena, like we often see in some rebirth cases. People say they may hear music, or they may smell some wonderful fragrance, or the clouds have become maybe wonderful colors. So just some a bit of miraculous phenomena. Although not always. There are also people who sought rebirth. Maybe for some people they cannot see anything, but it doesn't mean that this person did not seek rebirth. Whether one seeks rebirth or not, we cannot just fully judge by whether there are miraculous phenomena or not. But it purely depends on this person's deep faith, vow, and practice. Okay, so that's another rebirth case. Okay, so let's do the merit transfer together. We vow to be born in the Western Pure Land, have the 9 great lotuses as our parents. When the lotuses open, we'll see the Buddha and realize the Dharma of no birth, with non-regressing bodhisattvas as our companions. So may all beings hear the name of Amitabha Buddha and be reborn in the land of ultimate bliss. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo.